Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to another very live episode of PinTech Live. We're back with the fills, and we're going to start very soon. So get comfy. All right, let's do this. Okie dokie. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fun episode of PinTech Live, our guest tech series. We are back at the Phil's Pinball and Arcade offices, workshop, warehouse, secret lair, secret pinball lair.
the secret location.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us again. We always appreciate you letting us come on and Marco Pinball and letting us come on here and have a little bit of fun for the afternoon. Gets me out of doing stuff I don't like to do. So I'm for it.
What is it? Working on pinball or working on pinball? What else do you do?
No, it's all the other stuff that I don't like. I mean, it's the making invoices and looking at insurance, all that kind of stuff. That's the part that I don't like.
So we're distracting you from the really important things you need to get done.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it.
It's so much more fun to work on games together. I think we're all right there with you. How about you, John? Sure. How you doing?
Doing good. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You're not as crisp as Phil, but we want to get a pulse check from you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Moto.
For sure. So a few weeks ago, we worked on a Stern Indiana Jones. It was the Stern one, right?
Yep.
I'm going to drop a link in the chat and talk a little bit about, while I do that, talk about the issues that we were working with Indiana Jones and where we came to. And
yeah, so unfortunately we didn't get to do the fix on stream, but shortly after that we kept looking around. But basically what we were having was every time it went to multi-ball, that it would actually end up kicking it where switches wouldn't work and doing different things. And so it had a lot of just switch issues after multi-ball. And the customer had said that Chris Hibbler did some work on it and ended up putting in a socket on one of the switch drive transistors so that every time it blew, he could put a new one in because there was a short somewhere on the play field. And so we thought we'd gotten it because that was on Q4. On Q3 of that transistor, it had blown. And so we had seen that. We changed it on stream. It was working for a minute, and then all the issues came back again. And so we got to looking around and kept
we were like, yay. And then we were like,
no. I know. It was one of those things. It was like, we found it. No, we didn't quite find it. And so it was funny because the way that I actually found the issue was I heard David Kitch. He's one of the techs around town. He's a really good guy and stuff. But he taught me early on. He's like, if you're having issues that are just crazy and stuff, it's like, get out a multimeter, start seeing if stuff's attached to ground. And so that's what I really did. I got out a multimeter and just started poking. And actually I had one of those auto multimeters that chooses for you. So like whatever you do, it's supposed to be able to figure out whether, you're looking for resistance or you're looking for voltage, and it does it for you. It's called auto. It's just got an auto setting. And so I started doing that. But when I did that, I poked the magnet, and it actually had voltage on it, and it's not supposed to have voltage. And so I did do a video, and I don't know if we want to show it or not, but I did do a video where you could see. So actually what ended up happening was, that magnet there, you can see that one is actually showing the fix, one of the things that we did. But that magnet there actually has insulation all the way wrapped around it. And it's got some wires coming into it with the voltage. And what it had done is it actually had turned, and it actually had turned in such a way so that the coil wires were actually touching the mounting bracket. And so that voltage was actually getting through to the actual whole mounting bracket. And then that mounting bracket, because everything's so tight underneath that game, it ended up with that touching both sides of the stand-up targets. So you had 3 stand-up targets on the left, and you had like 4 or 5 on the right. And that was actually touching those stand-up targets, mounting brackets. And then that whole thing was when the multi-ball was active, the magnet would get active with its 50 volts. And then when somebody would hit a switch in there, that would actually end up transferring over to the switch matrix, and 50 volts would go through and destroy the drive transistor. And
you can see in those pictures, it magnetizes even the dust.
Any of the cool
insane dust. It's just magnetic dust that just kind of created little symbiote spikes to blow up the game.
And so, but it made perfect sense once you did that, because that mounting bracket actually had 2 feet on either side. So it was touching the Q3 row, and it was touching the Q4 on either side. So that's why you were seeing both of those blow up, is because it was there. So we actually took the magnet out, wrapped insulation around the actual magnet itself, did just some electrical tape on it. And then we ended up wrapping both of the feet of that mounting bracket in heat shrink. And just so if it ever was to accidentally happen again, it doesn't have a way to get to the switches anymore.
With everything being so tight in there.
Yeah, with everything being so tight. But we did do that video, and if you go to the Phil's Facebook page, yeah, you can play it too. Yeah, everybody can see it a little bit better in that video.
Let's see. Let's watch it. Let's actually. Yeah. We're gonna watch it together.
Yeah, let's watch it together.
All right, let's see.
All right, so
just kidding.
We did some more digging after we got off stream there.
Can you hear me on that one? You got the audio up on it?
Where the magnet and everything is.
Yeah, they can.
They can hear us again. Okay.
To do with multi-ball in this game, and so when we got to looking in here, I actually got out the meter and just started poking around a little bit. So this is my auto kind of meter, and I started just kind of poking and seeing and everything. And actually, let's load this back up for a second. What we noticed here was we started just kind of poking and doing, and we started to notice some voltage in a weird place. So we end up having 5 volts on this this bracket here for the magnet. And so anywhere we touch on the magnet, we've got actual voltage going. So if we look here, we don't have any there, we don't have any here, we don't have any here, we don't have any here. Oh, we got some there. We don't have it here, we don't have it here. So we have voltage here on this switch bracket, and we have voltage here on this switch bracket. And so we got to looking, and this magnet piece is actually touching right here. This the actual where it mounts in the bracket, and this switch is touching, and then this one up here, the same thing. This mounting bracket is actually touching this switch bracket, and we've got 5 volts, 6 volts on there, and so we can kill the 50 volts, and it goes away. So if we kill the 50 and the 20 volts, then when we hit this, it goes away. But as soon as we activate this again, we have voltage. So we've got some sort of voltage leak going on right here. So this is our issue, and that's why it took out Q3 and it took out Q4 over here. And so we've got to figure out what's going on with this magnet. And why it's got some voltage, whether something's touching that shouldn't be touching over here, or what's happening. But what we ended up doing is we ended up unplugging the magnet here from the equation and played about 4 or 5 games on it, doing the multi-ball over and over and over again, and everything plays fine now. And we still have all the switches working and everything, so there's our issue right there.
Oh, there we are. Yay!
Nice.
That was a great recap, and thanks again for doing that, because it was fun. We get it all in the episode, but there's that when you turn off the cameras, that's sometimes where the solution has been discovered. So thanks for getting that full recap so we can put together. It's a crazy issue. You just never, like, everything we looked at was like what you're following the pathways of troubleshooting, right? And then it's like magnet dust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's I've had 1 or 2 of those over, the course of time, where it's just a really, really crazy issue. But that was, like I said, David Kitch, he said, when you see something like that, just start getting out your meter and look at something odd. And so I literally was just poking around, and you find it. But it's, and then when you got the cameras on and you're trying to think on the fly and you got lights in your eyes and everything else, it's a little bit harder to do. But we get it. But no, that was a cool one. And then do we want to go ahead and show what we did for
well? Yeah, is that the NASCAR?
Yeah, that's the
stuff you're talking
NASCAR
about?
one.
Yeah. Tell us what's going on with that.
So Project Pinball has a NASCAR machine in the Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte up there. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about an hour and 45 minutes from us. So when we're going through town, sometimes they'll ask us to stop by and fix something on it or whatever. And so they had where they said a ball stuck issue. And so me and John just happened to be on Sunday going through there to pick up some coin machines and some different things. And we stopped by, and when we went to go look at it, that first picture that you show is actually where the bottom of that trough bracket is broken off. That's that's the fix on it. I'm going to come up and look at it a little bit deeper, but okay. So what we ended up doing, the whole bottom side of that little bracket, like that one right there, if you go up a little bit on it.
Oh yeah. How do I?
If you move that just a little bit, yeah.
Ooh, manual. Right. Use hotkeys to control.
Yeah.
What are my hotkeys?
So the bottom side of that vertical up kick bracket just is falling off. You can see it there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so it's just about to fall off. And
I mean, we wiggled it just a little and it popped completely off.
And there's this whole entire scoop that goes on the top of that thing for the way it's designed. And so it's this big, huge metal piece that it's attached to. And so it's not like just one of the individual things that you can replace. So we actually ended up taking a pop bumper bracket. I think I left the other piece here, but so we ended up taking a pop bumper bracket and cutting it off, and then cutting off the flares on the side so that it could flush mount on the back side of that bracket there, and end up stopping that vertical up kick from falling all the way down. And so there we were in the parking lot. Yeah, so we were in the parking lot of the Ronald McDonald House there in downtown Charlotte, and I was out there just grinding on that thing.
We kept thinking, man, what could we use? And is there something that we can have? So we looked at a few different things, and it ended up that was the only thing that might work, and so it was pretty cool to get it back up with something that you make.
Yeah. Yeah, it had been down for a couple of weeks. They had actually contacted us a couple of weeks ago, but we didn't have any trips up there. And so when we were coming through, it was like, man, we got to get it up and playing for the kids and the families coming through there. And so what can we do while we order a part? And that's like the operator side of us that, hey, just keep the game going for right now. Even though that's not like 100% the right fix, but it definitely worked and was fun. Those kind of fixes are fun because, you know that they're getting to come in and play it and stuff, and it's working well and doing what it needs to do. But you just trying to make it happen on the fly. And that's a lot of what pinball is about, is sometimes you just got to make a little piece or whatever that you need so that the ball stops getting stuck somewhere or this or that. And you get through it. And it's always cool. It's always
good work, MacGyvers, for the kids.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing you're like, man, it's cool to be able to just make stuff.
Yeah. And get out of grinder. I'm sure we woke up like half the neighborhood because it was like 6 o'clock at night when we were doing it too. And so it was so loud out there when we were grinding on it.
Were like, what in the world are these guys doing?
Grinding metal. Oh, it's just a pinball part.
And we're hanging out by like the dumpsters.
It was funny, but we had a good time. We got it up and going for them, so we're happy about that. So
awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah,
but it's easier to just order from Marco Pinball. Try to make it fun. So
if you got it on hand or you got some time, go ahead and make the correct order and swap it out. But when you got to do what you got to do, you do.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get the game up and running, like especially if it's like a tournament or something. Just
tournament on
needs to make it through the day.
And on location too, as long as it's flipping okay and it's not something that's affecting the gameplay. sometimes you got to just get it done and stuff. I mean, especially Europe in our business and routing these things is where we make our money. So if it's down, then we're losing money.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Just don't do the thing that I see at the local ticket redemption arcade down in Gulf Shores. There's like the action button. And then someone just put a screw in the action button so you could hit the action button down. It's just like
we have changed them out to like solid color ones before.
Yeah, clear one for sure.
And stuff. But the action buttons, they can.
I mean, it works, but yeah. When it's sitting there for like 6 months, you're like,
come on.
You could have got that piece. You could have got that piece.
Yeah, I know. It's like you go to some of the places that are, on location stuff, and you go play a machine and it's been broken. You come back 6 months later and the same thing's broken. You're like, you had plenty of time to fix that. Plenty of time.
Yeah.
And then
for sure. So
you're into the business and you're like, okay, I have no time.
Oh, I know. The other side of the spectrum, you never know what the story is. That's for sure.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm reading chat over here. That's my phone. No, I got chat on my phone.
Yay. So good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Good seeing everybody.
So y'all are posted up by a Mars track, and
we are.
You have player unit issues. Is that what you said what's going on?
Yeah. So we got this like 2 days ago, honestly. And so when we were thinking about what to do today, I said, hey, let me throw this one up. The original owner said it had flipper issues. The flippers weren't flipping. And that when we started turning it on and just looking through it, that kind of worked itself out. So it's not one of those things where we need to dive into that too much. But
hold on. So go back real quick. There's a flipper issue, but then when you turn it on, it was fine? Or did you do something to the flippers?
When I got it to start playing through the game a little bit, I'm pretty sure the contacts started cleaning themselves and everything started working better. And so it just been sitting for so long, and he hadn't been playing it. And so when he said there was flipper issues, and he showed me like, hey, he tried to start a game and it didn't do so. Normally when we would get a EM like this, I just look for signs of life. So I'll pull up the play field here, and I'll go ahead and do some of this. But I'll pull up the play field here, and I'll start going through looking for signs of life and stuff. So if it's plugged in and on, again, it has voltage, so be prepared. But I would come in and just start hitting some of the relays like that. And when you do that, they start cleaning themselves. And so you start getting to see more and more life out of it. And so there's a lot of times where I'll just come in and start getting the game to start move and start getting it to do what it needs to do. And then once you do that and it starts cleaning it, stuff starts usually working. And so when we did that, the flippers started working right away. But we started going through and making sure and trying to see what else that we could see not working. And so in these games, this is always like, if you have somebody that never works on pinball machines and stuff like that, they look in the bottom of an EM and they're like, they get really scared because it's so many wires and so many things. But we just kind of have a little thing where we look through them. We'll reseat all the Jones plugs. We'll go through all the stepper units. Like you have stepper units for the bonus. You have stepper units for the players. You have stepper units for the ball count. You have stepper units for the back where the credits are and the match. And so there's all these different stepper units, and there's usually a couple different kinds of stepper units. And so when we look at those as well, because normally when you get a game in that's EM and it has some signs of life, there's a few things that you can kind of start doing and looking at, and you'll start finding some issues. Bally games, especially, usually and Gottlieb had an issue too, but they'll gum up and all the steppers won't step fully strong one way or the other, or they won't reset all the way. And so Stepper units can be continuous stepping, which means they just keep going forward over and over again. And so they only have one coil that fires over and over again, and it keeps turning and it goes in one direction. And then you have some that step up and step down. So they'll and they step forward and backwards. And then you also have ones that step forward and then they release all the way back to home position. And it has a reset coil that'll recoil it all the way back. And so when you're looking at them, you can kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to do by how many coils it has on. And when we open it up, we'll kind of come in here manually and start doing the solenoids and just make sure it's stepping and moving in the way that it should. Because a lot of times you'll have it where it's gummed up and it's either not moving forward or it's not coming all the way back. And when it doesn't do those things, there's a lot of things in the startup where a bonus stepper has to be reset back to 0 in order for it to start the game. And so you have a lot of these things going on where you can look at them and just see if they're moving forward or moving backwards. And so when we started to do this, I'll put on a 4-player game just to see if everything starts happening like it should. And when we went to go put a 4-player game on, we could only get it to do 3 players. And so it wouldn't do a 4th player. So I need to look at that unit and just see what we see on it and see if we can find the issue. And it's hard for me to get in. I'll get John to zoom in on this other camera right here.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
And
there's a third camera?
There is a third camera.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you
go. Whoa. That's pretty.
So we've got, So here's some stepper units in here. And you can kind of see here's in the back here is one of the solenoids, the coils. And then underneath here, you can't really see it from where we're at, but underneath here is one as well that steps it up. And then on the back side of all these stepper units is always the fingers that do whatever you need it to do. So on a player unit, it's basically its whole function really for most of the time is to how many players do we have in the game, and it should show you on the back glass. On this side, it's on the right side. You can't see it right now with the playfield up, but there are lights that indicate player 1 and player 2. And player 3 and player 4. And so when you put those in, they should light up. And then it tells the logic to go through them. So in most games, if you say you put in a 2-player game, well, the player unit goes to 2 players. And then you have it where you'll go play player 1 ball, player 2 ball. And then it says, hey, player 3 or player 4 aren't in there, so it skips in the ball count unit player 3 and player 4's position and goes back to player 1 position. And so you go that, and it keeps going, and it just keeps gradually going that. But whatever players aren't in the game, it just skips over those and goes back. And so I've seen it where games, they play through all 4 players, whether you've chosen a 4-player game or not. There's been ones where you have it where you put in 2 players and it's scoring on the wrong player. All those different things have to, are happening. But in this one in particular, we have it where I can add 3 players, but I can't add the 4th player no matter what I try right now. And I want to make sure it has credits on the game because I haven't put a free play on this one. So we make sure it has credits. And then
how do you make sure it has credits?
Because it won't start and add players if I don't have credits in the game. And so instead of me going in there and fingling with my fingers and adding credits that way, then I can just go in the back and it's got a wheel that I can just kind of nudge forward, and it says there's 13 credits right now.
Oh, nice.
And so
you don't have to
I can just
I
don't have to sit there and do that.
Like that part?
No, they always get bent and then they're in the wrong spot and then something happens. So I don't like doing it. So we're in game over mode right now. Just turn the game on. We go 1 player. It's not showing us a light, so we already got an issue there. And then we'll go 2-player, still not showing us our light, but I heard it click.
Yeah.
3-player, still not showing us our light, but I heard it click. And 4th player does nothing. So if I go through the game right now, it'll play 1, 2, and 3, but I can't add the 4th player. Go player 2, player 3, and then it's going to go back here. So it's telling us we're on ball 2, player 1. But so we've got 2 issues with that player unit, because the player unit should also turn on these lights over here. So we're not seeing how many players are actually playing in the game. And then it's also not giving us 4 players. So we want to just look at that. And then I think I realized that the spinner's not working on this either. So I need to look at that. That spinner is working. These spinners are juicy. I don't have the chimes plugged in, but.
Oh, wait, can we get a close-up shot on that one with the pretty
John,
camera?
you get
Let's get that beauty shot, John.
Let's see. Yeah. We're a little tight in here today. We got a lot of stuff in here, so he's trying to dance around for me. Get the right one.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. I love the double spinners on Mars Trek, too. We worked on this game on PinTech Live a year or so ago, and it was really fun.
And so this spinner's not working. This gate back there was stuck up when we got it. But you kind of go through and just make sure, everything's doing what it should do. And it seems to be that everything seems to be working other than this spinner and the player unit. So let's dive into that player unit. The crazy thing about this game is it's actually a Spanish game from Sonic, and they become Sega Sonic later. And then this is where Sonic the Hedgehog, eventually comes out of, but it was a totally different company before. And so they basically just
Sonic the Hedgehog is from Mars?
Was from Sega Sonic, from the actual original company from Spain. They actually just bought the IP, and actually it came all the way up. So this was the original company, and the IP got changed hands so many times, and then they did a knock towards the old tradition and the Saint of Sonic, and so that's where they came up with Sonic the Hedgehog when it came into Sega. So whole train there. But
cool backstory. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know
that. And so when you look in here, everything is in Spanish and in English, which is kind of cool. And they actually have a European service socket in here too. So it's actually down in the game. It'd be hard to get over here and see it, but it actually in here it has just the 2-prong European socket in there as well. So in this game, the player unit is actually the one that's in the back over here. And so John's gonna keep zooming in for us and everything. But in the back here is actually the player unit. I believe this one up here is the bonus unit. This one, I'm not 100% on it, and I don't see its label right now, but I know this one is the player unit. And so they have those fingers on there. And when you're looking at them, there's 2 different things. One can be that the fingers are off. They can be in the wrong positions. And they're just, it's not tightened in the right position. So where the pads are and the fingers, they're not lining up when it goes into certain positions. The other thing can be the tension on the fingers. It kind of wants to go flat against this board. And so when it can't go flat against the board, it's hanging up, and you can see sometimes they're not touching. And I kind of go through and just tap on them, and you can kind of hear a click when it taps if they're not all the way down. And so usually,
so you don't want to hear a click.
Yeah, you don't want to hear a click. You want it to feel like you're pushing on something and you don't hear anything. If you hear a click when you push on them, then you realize that one of them is actually up off of that and you have an issue there. But these fingers in here, they will press against there. And a lot of people, I mean, there's a kind of a special way to adjust those when you're doing it, because it's actually kind of a curved piece. And I don't know where the camera is. It's kind of a curved piece like this. And so this part is touching down. And when it's curved like this, a lot of people's thing is they press back here and they flatten it out. And that's not really what you want to do, because this pad on the end is actually rounded as well. And so what you end up doing is you actually just end up pulling it up. And now it's not making a flat contact with the pad underneath here. It's actually lifting up and it kind of gets sideways like this. So a lot of people will just kind of push down on the top, try to get that tension there. So really what you actually want to do, the end of it is actually kind of flattened out. And then it has an arch in it. And so you kind of want to push it. And when you push it, you flatten out the end as well. And so it gives you that tension back. But then it also is pushing on that pad in a flat manner instead of pushing the end up and it not getting good contact again. And so you always want to check those. And then, you know, I go through it again of just making sure what it's doing. It seems a little lazy. And what I mean by that is this one is actually a step up and then a reset. So it actually steps all the way up. And then it has a reset coil that'll move it all the way back to home position. And so when it steps up and then moves back to home position, instead of firing back just real quick like it should, it's lazy and it comes and goes just barely, kind of doing its thing there. And so when it does that, we'll need to eventually take this apart and just clean it all. But that's hard to do and pull out and show you guys on camera. We will do that, but I think there's more going on with this one. The other, so it's got all these levers and different things. And when you actually pull one of these out, let me see real quick. Get another screwdriver. I can pull this one and move it back and forth so y'all can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So there's usually a few screws holding these in, and when you're working on them, there's the best way to work on these things, if you're really going to tear them apart, is there's a couple screws. You unplug everything, unplug the coin door and everything else, and you pull this whole brain of the machine out, set it across the rails here, and you can actually work on it a little bit easier. But because I wanted us to be able to see the game play and everything else, I didn't want to tear it all apart and work on it that way so that we can actually see the results and not have to pull the play field out and do a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to pull these pieces out here, and I'll turn it to the sides and stuff and see if we can show you. The cool thing about the Sonic games as well is the play fields hardly ever show any wear, as y'all may have heard before, because of whatever the lacquer they used back in the day. And so most of the time, if you get one that's got a decent cabinet on it, the cabinets were particle board in places, and so they would swell a lot. But if you get one with a decent cabinet on it, the play fields are usually almost fantastic for the age, because of that lacquer and stuff they use. So on this unit here, you can see this one is the step up. So it steps it up, turns this. It's got this coiled up spring in here involved. And so, like right there?
No, it's like lift it.
Lift what?
You can pan up a little too.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah. So I'm trying to get yeah. So you have this one that steps up on the bottom, and then this one resets it. And so you've got those going, and then you have these fingers on the back. side, which we obviously have a little bit of issues with these because the lights aren't working. And so we should see the lights working on from these as well. And so there's a little bit of an issue there, but you can see most people would sit there and push them down like that. And really what you want to do, each end is flat. You can take it and you can bend it and put a little bit more tension that way, but you want to keep that end as flat as possible because like this one's been bent flat on here. And so really if I was to take this out, I would re-put that arc in there a little bit better. And because it's flattened right here, and I'd put that arc back in there and get the tension exactly where it needs to be. Now on this too, another thing you can do is take a really, really fine sandpaper and clean these. And you can clean all these different areas, all these different traces, clean the ends of the fingers there and get it all cleaned up. I mean, try not to, you're trying not to scratch it up too much, but you want to get it where it looks bright again. And then you can take some steel wool or anything, clean it up, and do some of that. Now there is some grease that some people will use sometimes to put on this. It's actually a conductive grease, and it helps the fingers slide and not get caught, but it's still conductive, and so it can come through there. And so there are some of the, the old timers and things like that have, I call it PB grease because of Steve Young.
Yeah.
But that PB grease,
that's the good stuff.
And put some of that on there, and then it keeps it where it's moving a little bit more, but it's also conductive. And so there's lots of people that'll do that as well. But besides some fingering issues, it seems to be working as far as the players are concerned. It's just the lights. So we'll look at the lights once we get it where we know it's working. But you always want to check all of these and make sure nothing is coming off, no broken solders anywhere, all of these lugs that are on the end. There are, I think it's like, there's a different Spanish company like Recall or something like that has one, and they use really bad solder, and so they would break off all the time. So if you get one of those games, it's almost a nightmare because they start breaking all over the place. And and so really the only way for them to be reliable is for you to actually go in and resolder everything with better solder. So we have this unit here. The other, you've got all these springs and everything. If you're ever taking one of these apart, take more pictures than you ever think. Sometimes I'll mark them so I know exactly where everything goes back together and lines up correctly, gets back in the home position. You definitely want to mark them and make sure you know what you're doing when you take it apart, because if you get it lined up wrong, it won't work. The other thing in this this piece here, if I can get it to where the wires aren't getting caught.
Can I just say that this is like the cleanest inside of an EM I've seen in a while.
It's pretty clean. Like you can't see right here, though. Like the one beside us over here right here is like totally dirty. But that one right there, that Solar City, that one's one of the cleanest ones we've seen inside. Like it's like some of those coils and stuff in there look brand new. Like they've never been touched and stuff. But that one is super clean. This one looks fairly clean, but when you get like right here in it, like you can tell people drank some beers and spilled them and done some things here. Yeah. And so the only other thing on this that I really look at is this position, this I don't know what you would actually call it. I'm sure there's a specific name for it, but it's like basically like an end of stroke switch. When this actually gets to a spot where, hey, I don't want you to go any further, it's got this little knob on here that goes around with it. And it's got this nodule here that sticks out, and then it's got this switch that it can push open or close and stuff. And this basically says, hey, you're in the furthest position that we want you to go. Don't go any further. And so that switch looks like it's been bent before, which concerns me. So we'll take a look at it and make sure. So let's get this one all the way back into what it should be 0 position. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's way open. All right. So if you can see here on this switch right here, and I'm trying to look and make sure you can see it on the camera, but this switch right here is coming open, I think sooner than it should, is what I see. So if we reset it back, it's lazy right now. I'll have to clean that out, but it resets back to the position. So when you start a game, you should automatically be at 1 player, then 2 players, 3 players. Yeah, I can see what's going on now. 4 players. So we have it opened into the 4 players. So that means manually I can get to 4 players, but it's not doing it in the game. So let's turn it on and let's just double check again. And we're going to see it. It should stop and the coil shouldn't be firing. So if we know that the coil it doesn't fire when we get into that 3-player position, and then we press it for the 4 and it doesn't fire, then we know that switch has opened up, because that's about the only way it can kill it. It's supposed to be closed until a certain spot. Should be closed all the way until you get to player 4, and then it should open up and it should say, hey, you can't go past 4 players. So it stays open, and then when the game resets, it goes back to position 1, that switch closes and it tells it, hey, you can add to player 2, player 3, player 4. But then once you get to player 4 again, it should open back up and say, hey, you can't add any more players. So we've got credits. It's in here. And so we're going to look at it. I'm going to pull this out, and then I'm going to look at it and see. So we'll do 1 player, it's reset its home position. 2 player, it fired. 3 player, it fired. 4 player, it didn't fire. So I'll do that one more time so we can all see it. But we're at game over. We do it. It resets itself to player 1. It's slow and sluggish, but we got it. And then we hit player 2, it moves forward. We hit player 3, it moves forward. We hit player 4, nothing. And so we know that it's getting killed before it allows player 4. And so my suspicion is that this switch down here is misaligned because of the way it's bent and stuff. And so I don't know if we can zoom in and see, but that's in the 3rd position there, because it wouldn't go to 4.
It's already open a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's already opened up a little bit. So
can you how much can you zoom in, John? Are you maxed out? Can you go like?
See if you can zoom in on this. I think he's maxed on this one. But,
I mean, it's pretty zoomed in, but it would just
yeah. See if we can get it in there.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let me see if I can move it over.
Hey. Yeah. All
right.
Find it. Come on,
so
sniper.
Right there. Yeah. So right there, you can barely see that little bit of light.
There it is. There it is.
And so we can see just that little bit of gap when it gets to player 3, and it's not opening up. And if you can see, there's actually a little bow in it, and it's because of that tension over time on that thing. Sometimes it'll just start bowing out like that, and it just needs an adjustment back. So you can go up here, but you can also straighten this one out a little bit. And I'm using my fingers at the moment, but see how I straighten that out so that the top one is a little bit more straight. Then I can make an adjustment here and make sure it's closed. So we should be closed now. And then that's in third position. So if that's in third position, then the fourth position should open that up instead of the third position. So that just little bit of thing there from over time of that hitting it over and over again, or somebody getting down there and not knowing what they're doing, can end up doing it. But I usually try to flatten this top one back out and then push the bottom one up there. So now let's see what we got, and then we'll check on the lights. So here we go. So it's in game over. Player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4.
Whoa, yeah.
Nice.
It's always like a fun magic trick.
Yeah, it is. And so now we see in that position that on this one, it opened up on player 4 instead of player 3. So it's just that little bit and stuff that you can see. And it's usually something simple like that on the stepper units. You know, it's either being lazy and not getting all the way back to where it needs to be, or, you know, if you don't see the coils firing, then you need to get out a schematic and start seeing and making sure the coils are firing, whether it be the reset or the step up. So with us being able to see, hey, all the coils are firing, doing what they need to do in other positions, then we should do it in fourth position too. But all of those stepper units usually have a kill switch or an in switch on there. And whether they call it zero switch is usually when it's in a home position to me. But yeah. And then, so now let's look at the lights and see if we can't figure out the lights, because we've got it going into 4 players now.
Nice. But
the lights still weren't showing up on the top. So let me see. And John, you could probably move that one over and get the lights a little bit, because we're going to be looking at these 1 through 4 player lights over there. And then we can zoom this one in a little bit on. Yeah, you got it right on in on that.
I swear I'm paying attention, but I just keep looking at that awesome big buck hunter, and I just want to it's so shiny.
Yeah.
It's not awesome. It's broken.
Yeah.
Just moments ago.
Yeah, we actually, John finished putting it back together like right before stream.
Nice.
And stuff. But the guns were messed up on it, and he was over there putting all the little screws back in it.
Always
right
the guns. Always the guns.
Yeah, on any shooting game, it's always the guns. It's so all right. So we're seeing that player 4 light. Maybe in all my little messing right there, we got that. So we need credits. Let's get credits on there. So we got credits now. So we're going to go player 1. So that light's not coming on. Player 2. All right. Let's see if we can find it now. Oh, came on. So that may be it being lazy, but player 3 that's not on. So let's look at it and see if we can get those lights to work. All right. So on the back here, one of these fingers, and again, if you are doing this and repairing game and then power is on at your own risk. Don't grab the side rails and all this kind of stuff. You can get something non-conductive to touch it. Sometimes you take, a toothpick, or you take something, you can touch it with that. Yeah, chopstick, anything that's non-conductive, and you can start going around until you find which one makes the light go on. Yeah, right there, the 3 light came on. So
you're poking the same unit?
Yeah, I'm poking the same unit, the fingers on the other side.
Yeah.
And all those fingers on the back side, when they're sitting there, you can see them here. And I'll try to get in here where you can see. But all of these, when you actually move them and wiggle them, you see how the light changes?
Yeah.
So you can see the light changing in there. And so we know that those need to be cleaned and cleaned up. so that it'll actually work and function properly. So we've got a couple of these that aren't touching where they should, and we can make the light work if we sit there and move it. So it's got a spot in there where it's not making contact, but it makes contact other times. And so there's kind of little grooves you can see on it. When I had it turned to the side, there was little black grooves. And so, yeah, it could be a burnout bulb too. I'm reading chat right now, but I think all the bulbs were working earlier. So I think we're good there. And, yep.
Thanks, Charleston Pinball Arcade, for all the tips and stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like dropping in the links of everything they're saying.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sonic sockets are horrible. Yeah,
I do have leaf adjusters and stuff over here as well. I do have those and stuff you can use.
You can just adopt the Kyle motto: "Do as I say, not as I do."
Yes.
Was his favorite quote on the street. You should use the leaf adjusters. You should take tons of photos. And when you're doing it, that's what you do. When you're watching it on the show, we like to provide that extra entertainment value.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so we've definitely got some issues with a couple of these and what we can do. So we'll do some cleaning on them, see if we can't get it to get real consistent for us. And see if we can't get that. And then let's take a look at this spinner and see why we don't have a spinner at the moment on the left side. So I'm going to turn the machine off. I've got a little bit of fine grit sandpaper. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning, get some alcohol, get all the residue off of it. And then we're going to see how it goes. So, thank y'all everybody for joining us and being in chat. But I'm going to give this a little bit of cleaning and see if we can't get it. And you kind of want to be delicate with some of this stuff. You don't want to put it out of place too much because you can do more damage and stuff. I mean, I tell people all the time, like if you're working on an EM, there's some of these old guys that the first thing they'll do is take everything out, go through every single switch, clean it, adjust it, make sure it's perfect, then put it all back in, and you solve a lot of issues that way if you do it correctly. But when you're learning, if you go through and shotgun it like that, then you may not, you may have created 3 or 4 more issues for yourself than you did fixing. And so, anything like this, when you're learning, stick to it in sections. Like, hey, I know that the out hole's not working. What's involved with the out hole? Go just after those sections and try to stick to sections on it so that if something messes up, you're not messing up some of the rest of the game. Now, if you get more advanced and you feel good about your cleaning techniques and everything else, then you can go through and do some more of that cleaning on the front end and know what you're looking at and know how you're adjusting the game and doing it. And you don't have to be super delicate. You just don't want to be super aggressive with it. And there's a lot of times I heard it from another repair guy, but on these EMs, there's kind of there's a few things. You can have a mild adjustment, you can have a pretty good adjustment, and then you have aggressive adjustment. And sometimes it needs, because there are a lot of things in the EM are about timing. So it's all about how long a switch gets held closed. Did it get held closed long enough? Did it not get held closed long enough? And you'll have some issues that, especially scoring issues, that'll creep up if a switch is not getting closed for long enough, or is closing for too long in your score motor or on some of these relays. And so you'll have some issues that creep up just because of the timing of how long the switch stays closed. And so you want to get those gaps, at that 1/8 of an inch and stuff, so those timings are all right. So I'm not doing the greatest job here in getting in the back of the cabinet here, but we're gonna do our best today. See if we can't get it. All
Then they
right.
get you one of our little nifty fiberglass pens, so you can just be like,
oh yeah, fiberglass pens. Y'all do have some cool stuff. Every single time I put a Marco's order together, there's like 3 tools that I always end up putting in there. Like I always find something. I always go to the tool section and look, and I'm like, I need one of those. I need 2 more of those.
We keep adding more. Keys. Yeah, we keep finding more stuff and sourcing it, and
yeah. And so there's like, but and what people don't realize too is y'all have tools for like almost everything on there. I mean, like, I forget the tool that I saw the other day. I was like, I had no idea y'all carried it. I think it was like a lockpick set and all that stuff too.
Oh yeah, we have the lockpick sets for the tubular locks and the regular locks, and it's like a tester set, so you can actually practice on how to.
Yeah, I was like, y'all even have lockpick sets? Like, come on.
Mark would, scour the world to find these things, and if there's any sort of relevance to why you would need it as an arcade operator or something, he was sourcing it.
Yeah. It's even like the spring tool that y'all have now that Marco was showing me.
The new double-ended one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works so well.
Well, especially when you're doing like drop targets and stuff. Having one like that is really
I totally
nice.
forgot that I had that, and I was using not that. And after I did my drop targets, I was like, oh, I have the double-ended spring tool. It would have saved me like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So it would have. I mean, it's like it takes a little bit of getting used to like how to use it, but like once you do, like the 2 sides and stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of loops in. I'll drop that in the chat too. Yeah. It beats using So
after I cleaned this, it got where it's not near as lazy.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah. So let me, I'm going to put it in to 4th position. So we'll see it reset when we start a game. And then we'll see if we have the lights. It's showing player 4 light right now, so that's a good sign because I have it in the 4th position.
Oh,
so
look at you.
We're going to. Oh, we don't have player 1 light. So where are you? Or did you burn out?
It kind of looks lit up. It's a little bit lit up.
No, that's a reflection.
Oh, ha. Funny.
So nothing I'm doing right now is affecting it. So let's see number 2. So we'll see if number 1 is out. Number 2 shows up fine. Number 3 shows up fine. Number 4 shows up fine. So let's look at the player 1 light and make sure that it's okay. So we got 2, 3, and 4 worked out. So now it's showing us that it's a 2-player, 3-player, 4-player game, and it's letting us add the 4th player now. So we're keeping moving in progress here, and then let's see if we can find a bulb here. Did I just accidentally turn off the lights?
Yeah, how did you do that?
I don't know. Is it?
You like turned off the game and it turned off your house lights?
It's magic.
Is it not the? Oh.
Please hold for a brief.
No, you.
Just kidding.
No, it's all good.
That was why. What just happened? Was that just like serendipitous at the same time?
No, yeah.
It's all connected.
We have a light switch over there that's actually motion censored, and we've got a bunch of stuff in front of it right now. So if after like 30 minutes he doesn't see any motion, it cuts off.
So yeah, just great timing. That was movie magic for you.
Movie magic.
Charleston Pinball Arcade said, "Wiggle the socket. It's a bad socket. The sonic sockets are terrible. Been saying
That's
all episode. Wiggle that socket.
Wiggle the socket. Let's see. Do we have a key for this? I mean, literally, we just set it up. So, the back to the pieces here. Sorry.
Is this a customer's game that's going back to them, or you putting it on?
We don't know what we're doing with it yet. We bought it.
Oh.
We bought it. That's a pretty good bag glass. It's only got a couple spots on it too.
Well, when you decide you want to sell it,
do I know somebody that would like it?
I love Mars Track. Yeah.
You love Mars Track?
Put me on the list.
Yeah, we've got so that's interesting you mentioned that, because we have some new locations now. So we've been talking about what we're going to put in the new locations. We actually have one that we're putting about 20 machines in. It's like 10 pinballs, ice station in Greer. It's a hockey rink. Cool. And stuff. Ooh, and then
nice.
There's another place that's in the works in another town that's about an hour from us. They're looking to do a free play arcade and stuff, and want help sourcing games at the very beginning. So we'll see how that goes.
That would be great in a free play arcade.
Free play arcade.
And free play arcade, having the different eras of games are always nice. Like on its own in a coin drop environment, it probably won't make a whole lot, of course, next to anything modern. But in a free play, in a free play setting, it's so nice having like that wide variation of games. Which is why I would love to buy it. So just let me know when you guys get bored of it off your route.
When's your birthday?
July 16th.
July 16th.
Okay.
All right. So we're in one.
Oh,
position.
Sorry. Before you continue, Phil, I've been requested in the chat to ask you about the special sauce.
The special sauce. Well, we have to kill you if we tell you about the special sauce.
Special sauce.
Yeah. The cleaning special sauce.
Oh, I was told twice. Oh, like you are like scientists, like chemists creating your own special sauce. Oh.
Yeah, there's a special sauce that we use on it. No, I would have to ask my dad. My dad's not here. He's at the
for sure.
Office. But
stop trying to get him in trouble, Charleston.
Yeah, but there is a special sauce that you use to buff up play fields and stuff like that, and works good. But anyway, all right. So wiggling the socket's not doing anything.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
So
we can sell it and brand it as Phil's special sauce.
Yeah. Well,
Phil and John's.
So I'm taking a known working ball, putting it in
Senior's special sauce. Okay.
So player 1 light is on now.
Okay, you just swapped a bulb? Is that it?
Yeah. I just swapped the bulb there. So this bulb was in it. Swapped it to a known good one. And then right there. So thumbs up. It's working. So we had one bad bulb, and we had some fingers that need to be adjusted, and a switch that needed to be adjusted. Now we have adding all 4 players, and it can go through. And like I said, I don't have the chimes hooked up right now, so it's not so loud. But it's playing, it's scoring. So going through all 4 players. Here we go. And this game does have some alternating relays on it for lighting up different stuff, and so you'll hear those sometimes buzzing, and people think that something's locked on, but it's not really on this game. It's actually meant to close. It's vibrating a little bit and making a noise, not unlike your coin lockout solenoids sometimes, where they're in the door and your whole door's rattling, going yee, and basically it just wears over time. Sometimes you can sand them down and you get them to be quiet again, but sometimes you just leave it and it's an EM. So my dad, senior, said the special sauce was a promised secret from another pinballer, and he was sworn to secrecy so he wouldn't die giving it away.
Was it Charleston Pinball Arcade? Or
no,
do they know the special size, or they're just trying to get it leaked? So they
I don't know.
need.
There's like 2 or 3 different ones that I hear people using and stuff. Ours is a little bit different, and it's not a typical one. But I've seen people use ceramic coating sprays. I've seen them use all sorts of stuff. But ours, I believe, is more of a polish. But some of the stuff I've seen my dad do on Mylar is pretty impressive. But somebody else was saying the other day, I saw somebody say they used Novus 3 on their Mylar with a buffing wheel. So I haven't tried that one yet.
Huh. So no, I don't think I've ever opened my Novus 3.
Yeah, I've never even opened up a bottle of Novus 3. I'm with you there.
Charleston Pinball Arcade said lock relay buzzing, humming relay.
Yeah, that one will hum too, but there's alternating relays in this one that'll hum as well. That actually goes back and forth where it locks it on, turns it off, locks it on, and there's make or break switches in there. And so we have both of that going on in this game. But the lock relay is loud at times on this one as well. Correct. All right, so I'm trying to make sure this should be ball 5. So go through all the way through a 4-player game and have it go to game over. And then we'll look at the spinner if we have enough time. I know we've got some other guests today.
Yes, by the way, we are going to have some guests join us today. In about 15 minutes or so, we're going to have the Krajcars from Ohio come on and talk about their charity tournament. Flip for the Cure annual charity to raise funds for epilepsy.
Is it qualified? I just have to look on the glass. There. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, that'd be cool. I look forward to talking with the family on their charity tournament and hearing more about it, because that sounds like a really cool charity. And my mother-in-law and stuff has some epilepsy and everything else, so that's something that's close to my heart there. But we went through all the 4 players, did a 5-ball game, all 4 players, and ended the game. And we're back to square one. So we're moving forward on this game and should have it up and rolling soon. So the next thing is this spinner. So if we start a game here, reset, squeeze the ball out. That one worked fine. This one is not. So let's take a look at those switches and see what we can find out. If they just need to be cleaned or they're misadjusted or what's happening there.
Oh,
so
that's cool. Now we all know what to use our Novus 3 for the little tri-packs we get. Marietta Kingpin said Novus 3 with a high-speed drill and a 3-inch aggressive pad is the jam for Mylar polishing.
For Mylar polishing, there it is. I mean, it is a plastic polisher.
I mean, so, I got so much Mylar on my hard body.
Sure
that will not come off, unless I'm peeling off everything. So maybe I'll try something fun with it. And it's all like milky and
it's really cool when you do get one that actually cleans up on that Mylar. Like it's like holy cow, that looks like a brand new game. And stuff. So I'm for it. I'm for trying it for sure. So all right, we've got the 2 spinners here.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to
zoom in. Yeah, there we go. Nice.
So he's zooming in, but you've got this switch. We may have to zoom in from the other side too, or he's going to move it. Good. John's the man. He's on it. He's on it.
Best camera operator in pinball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the spinner ones. They have the little metal pieces that come down and hook through them. And then as you spin the spinner, it goes up and down and touches there. It seems to be, opening and closing fine. I see the end of it moving. So let's clean it up a little bit and see if we can't get it to work. This is an older machine, so I'm going to actually use the flex stone again on it. If it's a solid state machine, you don't want to use the flex stone because you're going to get the coating off of it. Just a reminder, use a business card, a thick piece of paper, something like that to clean your switches off in solid state games. But if you're in EMs where it's got, higher voltage going through them, they're usually okay with getting a little bit of cleaning there. And you can see I'm just kind of checking this one. I'm kind of holding it down, doing it, but I'm also checking to see if I'm getting an even, where it starts shining up, making sure it's all even again. Because sometimes you'll come in at an angle and you only get one side, and so you have like a half crescent moon shape on there. It's hard to see unless I just peel this whole thing away. But when the pitting happens, you'll get that. So I try to get it as even as I can, where it's all the way across. And then usually this leaves a little bit of residue, so I do usually come back with a little bit of alcohol and clean it off a little bit. Just so it works the first couple times instead of having to let it burn it back off. But we'll clean it and see if that does it. If not, then there may be another issue for the left and right spinner on this game. Unless the left spinner needs to be lit for some reason, but it should score points. I really have only put like 3 or 4 games on one of these. I think it was the one at Transmission that had the Powerball in it. They put a Powerball in it.
Yeah, I think that was Kyle's game that we worked on the show, like episode 50 or 30 or something.
It was, yeah, I do believe that was Kyle's.
Nice. Now we get some spinner rips.
Let's see if we clean this off and we get, nope, still not getting it. So there's got to be a broken wire or something. Oh. So we'll check continuity on it now. Make sure the switch is working like it should. All right. It's gonna be something. All right. So we see it's, but I can't get it to fire even if I hold it down. So that seems flimsy, but I don't see anything. I mean, this seems like it's about to come off, but it doesn't seem like it is coming off yet. So let's get out a meter and we'll check the continuity of the switch. Make sure we cleaned it good enough. I think that meter right there. So this is hard to do with hands. So let's see. Give an alligator clip. We have an alligator clip right here.
I got a whole pack in my bag. Oh, my tool bag is over there.
Oh, you know what happened? Somehow the ear microphone host. So now John is like super clear and Phil is far away. John took over the stream, so you get in there and with the meter shot.
What's that?
He said the microphone took over on their side instead of my side. So I'm in the background now, forefront vocals.
Oh, okay.
And so you can get up there and
You guys just switch your earbuds.
Yeah, switch sides. So mine is.
Hello, Daniel.
Does that sound better now?
Yes. And Charleston said Jones plugs on the motherboard needs to be cleaned? Question mark.
The switch maybe needs to be cleaned. So
Do you clean your Jones plugs, like scrape around them?
You do. You can I reset all these and stuff, but they are a little bit. If the other spinner wasn't working, I would think something about maybe Jones plugs and stuff, but I think this one.
Yeah, I think John, can you talk for me? I want to test something. Can John hear me still?
Can you talk for a second?
Test 1, 2.
Oh, you sound so beautiful. So yeah, the mic's still on John for some reason.
I just switched earpieces with them. We see that one too.
Weird.
It just keeps
Maybe he's
switching back and forth.
He's magnetic, so it's like
I don't know.
connecting to him.
It's crazy.
I hear you now.
Now you can hear me now. I just got both of them in right now, so John can't hear us actually, which is sad because I need him to hear.
We need him to hear.
All right. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to try to get in here. I was trying to get an alligator clip, but then the mics got me distracted.
Oh, nice shot.
I kept doing it. So we come in here and we close the switch. Put it on ohms.
Don't you wish you had 3 or 4 hands?
I wish I had like 17 someday. So we're getting 0.5, 0.6. So It should be working. So the switch is good. I do see this guy like peeling off. So I'm wondering.
Oh, you just peeled him off completely.
Yeah. So that's like the bad soldering that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So
the solder's supposed to peel off like that? That was weird.
No.
It looked like a sticker.
Who was it? It was Bill. It was Bill, I think, that used to like just go in and yank on all the stuff because that's how it should be. He'd be just like come in and just like yank on it. And it's like if it doesn't stay, then you know that it's bad. So
yeah, I was told to yank.
Yeah, just yank on it.
But you didn't even have to yank. You just literally peeled.
I know.
That was so weird.
Yeah, it was just like, here, let's just peel it for a second. So let's see. Just to test our theory. Let's test our theory real quick and see if that had anything to do with it at all. All right, so starting in.
Now you're just checking it just from the wire.
Nope.
Oh.
Still not working. Other one works, but that one still doesn't. So we still have a deeper issue
where
somewhere.
We pull up the schematic and follow it to find the wire, or do you follow the wire and maybe there's a break somewhere?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be something like that, but we're going to run out of time again before we figure it out.
Oh.
Let's see. It's yellow.
Oh.
No, I just hit something down there. I don't know. It's closed right now and nothing happens. So, yeah, it's going to be like we're going to have to get out the schematic. I mean, we can look at it for a second and see. Do we still have time, or do you need to get?
Yeah, I think we still have time.
Okay.
Once they get in the guest room, then we'll kind of cut over to a holding screen to readjust the layout. But let's just keep going until
let's see.
Okay. Schematic. I will grab one.
Yes. Because I don't know where.
Oops.
No. What's chat? Hey, what's up, chat? Yeah, I don't have a clue what went on with those mics. It happened after the one dropped into the cabinet. fell out of my ear and dropped in the cabinet, and then it was like switching every time. Like we literally went over there and we switched, and he had the other side, and I had the one that was working. And then when I walked away from him, it switched back to him again. It's crazy.
Oh, weird.
But I don't know AirPods very well. I'm an Android person.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The
Yeah.
Android elitist.
It's like I've had like the same phone forever now. All right. So we got some schematics. So the problem with this,
schematic.
yeah.
Okay.
So the problem with this is trying to find where the spinner switch is on this, because it looks like it's just doing a 100-point relay, which we know, but we need to find where the spinner is, which this is the whole thing of the handwritten schematic, is not knowing where things are. You have to kind of dig sometimes for the spinner, but it should be spelled out. It should say spinner switch, because there definitely is one of those. So usually, hold on one second. I'm going to take control for a second. Hold on one second.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Hold on one second. Match the tilt. Spinner. So there it says left spinner, right? L spinner, switch, and it goes through the bonus unit. Okay. Left spinning switch goes through a bonus unit and goes through an alternating relay. That makes more sense now. So it may not work. So the way this game is played, this is me not knowing the game. You have a right and a left spinner, and they alternate.
Oh.
Can y'all see these schematics? Is that on the screen right now?
Yep. Yeah, and your mouse
okay.
reads too.
Okay. So we have the left spinner here switch, and then we can see it comes through a section on the bonus unit here, and then it comes over and goes to that alternating relay here. And then you have the right one, and it does the same thing, and it goes through alternating relay right there. So it's a make or break. So depending on which position it's in is whether the left spinner is going to work or the right spinner is going to work. So that is, well, at least we found the solder that I got to peel off. Like, come on. Yeah.
Okay,
right. So we need to activate the alternating relay to do. So let's figure out, I'm going to figure out where the alternating relay is, and then we'll activate it and do auxiliary eject, alternating 2, alternating 1. So it's these back here. So let's try this again.
Where are the relays for those spinners?
So the alternating relays are actually on the back side of this piece here, and let me zoom in real quick for it. So there is a whole set of relays all down this side, and the 2 on the very back are the alternating ones. One second here. All right, let's see. So on the back side here, there's two relays. So all the way back here is 2 alternating relays. This is alternator 1, alternator 2, and it just says alternator, so I'm assuming it's going to be the first one. So if we've got a game started, right? No, start a game. then we pop it, and then if I pull this out, not on that one. Let's see what's on this one.
It's spinning.
Yeah, I wonder what alternates it. Gotta alternate it. Well, I feel it. I just must not, either not making contact in there where it needs to be, or what, or something. But I'll take that apart at some point and take a look at it, because it's going to take me a good few minutes here to do it, unless you want to keep going. Because it's showing in that schematic that it's going through that alternating relay. So one of those switches in there, when it makes or breaks, so it basically has three pads here, and in a make or break situation, it's here, and then when it goes to the other one, it goes here. It either makes one or breaks one, so it goes back and forth. So it's switching from left to right, left to right, left to right, like that in there. Right. And so when it's doing that, one of them must not be touching all the way, or is dirty. And so that one that actually activates the left spinner is either not touching all the way, or
he's a busy man.
But yes, so
oh my goodness,
it won't go away.
You threw our camera to the ground.
Threw your camera to the ground? I didn't throw your camera to the ground.
When you went to scroll to the phone call thing, you like wiped the entire OBS screen off.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. So
an adjustment on that.
Yes.
So you have to completely remove it to get in there to clean it? Or
yeah, this one's tougher. I mean, I may can from the side if I set it up. But it's easier sometimes if I can remove them from here. I can kind of see these. Let me run the thing through it and see if we can get it real quick.
We can almost get a cool shot of it from here too.
Yeah. Here, I'll move this other camera and see. All right, so we have, there's one of the alternating relays.
Yeah.
So we can check it and see. So it's got 3 make or breaks on this one. And so what I'll do is I'll go in and clean them, and then I'll make sure they go in the right position. So we got one here. Here. But I really don't. Is somebody in chat actually know what alternates it and goes back and forth? Because I mean, I see it on the schematic, but I've, again, only played this game at transmission a couple times, and so I don't know the rules. And it may say on the rule card too. We need to look at it. But I'm going to clean all of these just a little bit and see if we don't get it. But these do say.
We'll see if our stern buddy knows, Mr. Terry. I texted him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 alternator and 2 alternator. I don't see any more. Is there an alternator on the play field? Sometimes there's one on the play field, like up here and stuff too. All right. I don't see it.
Send them a picture of this part of the schematic.
We'll see if we can get this real quick. But it's good that this game, like, I mean, they said flippers weren't flipping and stuff like that. And besides some cleaning of some steppers and a few things,
Yeah,
I think this one's going to
great little lesson.
be good.
It's a nice game.
You know, and it was only a few minutes from our shop too, so that was nice. It's actually a local game. Like so many games we go all over the Southeast for, and so to have one that's local, it's like, ooh, I don't have to travel.
And in a nice condition too.
It's like normally you see these cabinets and they're just like falling apart. I mean, this one's got some big scratches on one side, but like normally they're just like in pieces.
Ooh, he responded. I love Kyle. Man. He goes, I think you have to hit 2 lights and it'll trigger the relay. Like light E and K and it comes on.
All right. Let's try that in a second. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
What's crazy to me is like I've been doing this for 7 years and I still see games that I've never seen before or never gotten enough time to play on. And you'd think in 7 years you get to do and play a lot more than you do, but then you run into those games you're like, I've just never had one around me. Never had one for long enough to spend time and learn the rules.
Right.
And so there actually is. I have some other cleaners over here. I'm gonna grab. Okay, so this little guy here, I'll show it on here. These are cool. I use these a lot to clean stuff, but it's like a plastic end instead of a wooden end, so they don't break as easy. And so it's like a Q-tip, but they kind of have a flat piece in them, so they go really, really flat and stuff. So I'll put some alcohol on those and run them through sometimes to just clean the switches back off. And again, these is a Phil Senior, some he found. And actually, you know what? I think originally Rambo, who was in chat earlier, he actually was the one that told us about these.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if Rambo's still here or not. He usually lurks while he's working. And
always love seeing Rambo pop up in the chat.
Yeah. But that is, I believe, something that he told us about. I believe. All right. I know this is the boring part. I'm just cleaning switches. But hopefully it works. If not, I'll look deeper later, but we'll figure it out one way or another. We always do. One way or another, there's always an answer somewhere.
One way or another.
All right. So Kyle said 2 letters alternates it. All right. 2 letters. All right. Okay. So sorry about the camera work here. We are. All right. Whoa, no more credits. That's what's going on. Credits going on.
You done put 13 on there earlier.
We've already used them all. All right. So if I get on that, still doesn't work. Right
oh yeah, does it say on the instructions card? Kyle's looking for an instructions card right now, but
making the E and the K lights double bonus. Making Mars scores 10,000 points. Center target scores 10,000 points. Does not say. Bonus 50,000 points. Passing a ball through the runway gives an extra ball, or is it? Got to be just part of the game somewhere. And those
Yeah,
switches still have to be-
the game mode.
Well, we see it on the schematic that it alternates, and it's obviously not alternating. So we know is part of the issue.
They are lit when the bonus is high enough. So maybe just like score a bunch of points, hit the E and the K to get that bonus multiplier.
Some light issues there too.
So gross.
There we go. But it's lit, but it's still not scoring.
Oh,
So we still have an issue.
so close.
I know. Isn't it frustrating when you get so close to something and you just can't quite get it yet? And EMs are always that way for me. It's like there's always one little issue that's like holding you up on the whole thing, and you're like, okay. And it's usually simpler than I think it's going to be. And so I overcomplicate it, and I think like, oh, it's going to be some complicated issue, and it's really like, oh, well, there was a broken wire somewhere that you just didn't see before. So
it's nice finding those.
Yeah, it is nice finding those. We'll find it. We'll get it. It'll be another one of those. We'll give you the update, what we found and stuff. But is the family ready to go?
Yep. They just joined in, so I'm going to do some adjustments, and maybe I'm gonna put everyone on the holding screen. Don't go away because we're gonna come back and promote this Flip for the Cure.
Let's do
charity tournament. 2, 1. All right, here we are. Can everyone hear us properly? Let's do a quick mic check. We have the Krajcars here. We have Jason right below me, and Deja and Piper over there. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Welcome. So
Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We were just working on a Mars trek, and then now we want to hear all about y'all's tournament. I have the cool, did you say Johnny Crap did this art?
Johnny Crap did it. Yep.
Johnny Crap artwork for this Flip for the Cure tournament. So let's just start off. Tell us about this tournament in general.
Yeah. So it started 3 years ago, got hampered a little bit by COVID. But we wanted a way to give back to the Epilepsy Foundation in hopes to find cures and help people with epilepsy. So we got together with our friends, Dave DeSlover from Ulick Store, Ulick Arcade. He's the one also making the shirts and hoodies for us for the event. And like I said, the portion of that will go to the foundation. But we decided to do something fun instead of like a lemonade stand. It didn't seem to pull in the money that we're hoping for. And, you know, every time we go to a tournament, it was just loaded with great people. So we figured, let's host a pinball tournament. So we got everybody together. We got our friends at Toledo Pinball, Dave, Boucher, Logan Vaughn, and started doing pinball tournaments. This one currently that we're going to do is going to be pin golf. It was just like last year. We have a lot of great sponsors are helping out. Jersey Jack, Stern, Don's Pinball, you guys, of course, Marco, Johnny Crap donated the logo. We've got a lot of local people. Darkroom Pinball has got a great photo that is framed. I believe it's acrylic that's going to be in there. It's a Foo Fighters, and it is killer. Like, I definitely will be bidding on that. We're going to have all sorts of Mad Pinball, huge sponsor, been here from the start, donated a ton of T-shirts for the event. But so we do the event. The pinball crowd's great. It packs out the tournament's great. Last year we raised $10,000 through the event. And it's just a fun way for people to come out, hang around. We're at Wildside Toledo downtown again. They've been great for hosting us. They give us a portion of all the food and drinks for the event, and that goes to the foundation too. So a lot of great people playing a lot of great pinball, having a lot of fun, and doing a lot to help out the Epilepsy Foundation in Michigan.
Very cool. That's an awesome breakdown. And we dropped links in the chat so y'all can see like the donate page if you can't attend the tournament. And then there's also like the Facebook event page. Thanks to Toledo Pinball for organizing all of that. So I just reposted that awesome. To our Facebook and YouTube too.
It's a big undertaking. We're now in the panic mode because we're 2 weeks away, and we're going to have to move machines downtown because we have it gets crowded in that back room just because of the size, such a great turnout. So the owner of the restaurant's letting us move the machines from the arcade room actually into the dining room. So we're going to have at least 2 machines there, 2 in the hallway. Plus we have our Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man that is up and running. That is in our silent auction. So that'll be down there. Last year, I don't know what we'll do the finals on it because it's probably a long playing game. But last year we did the finals on Joker Poker. That was a game that was donated to us also for the event. So it's been just a great show, and everybody's so helpful. But like I said, now we're in panic mode trying to round up the last of the prizes and stuff like that. It's 5 months comes right upon you, and then you start stressing really bad because you just want it to be perfect. So because it's the labor of love, because our daughter Piper has epilepsy, and that's why we started this whole event.
Awesome. And Phil, Actually, let me just go in reverse because we just jumped out of our repair live stream and I did this all backwards. I want y'all to go through and introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Jason.
I am Jason.
Deja and Viber. Jason, yeah, tell us how you got into pinball, why you love it, a little bit about your journey in pinball, and then we'll go on.
I'm 48, so it's the typical mom and dad took me to the arcade when I was a kid. We would go with them. They didn't have a sitter. The arcade was there. It was mom and pop bowling night. Here's $5. Go to the arcade. So if you pump it in Mortal Kombat's and that, it was gone. But I figured out if I put a quarter in this pinball machine, I could play for a long time. So fell in love with it as a kid. And then once I was financially responsible and able to enough, we got our first pinball machine at Taxi. We couldn't go out for New Year's Eve. The whole goal was where I got Taxi, you had to get it to my house, get it set up. And then that started the addiction. Went from one pinball machine to please don't look at my pin side because you see how many machines I've owned in a short bit of time. I've been back to it. But it's,
that's street cred.
It's just been a love, a passion. Like I said, I'm not the best player in the world, but we just went to D82 and that was insane. And then of course you have to suck the family in. So we sucked family members in. My wife got into it. And then my daughter got into it between little flippers and playing in some of the local tournaments here. So just the usual. Started off as a little kid, had a quarter, and now I'm 10 pinball machines later, and it's just a constant revolving door. We just love it.
You're in good company, that's for sure.
Yes.
Deja, did you play pinball before or when you were little, or was your
I did on occasion, but not my parents weren't in a bowling league to take me to the arcade on a regular basis, but it definitely sprung back up when we got our first pinball machine. And then when Jason gets a passion, he goes full throttle. So we've learned a lot and experienced a lot throughout our whole pinball process of, getting, trading, buying, selling, all of the fun that goes along with the pinball games. And then going to the tournaments, it gave us another avenue to spend time with other family members like Jason's parents and his sister and some other friends of ours. It just became more of an excuse to get together, which is, an amazing gift to be able to spend time with family and friends. So it's been a fun adventure, and it's really opened my eyes to how amazing, a group of individuals could be in a community like the pinball community, because it's amazing how much support we've had throughout our short tenure in being back into pinball. It's been 6 years, 7 years maybe, tops, and it's just been a wonderful gift to us.
Very cool. And Piper, how about you? What is it that you love about pinball? I'm sure your parents dragged you in it, but how old were you when you started playing and being in the little flippers?
I started playing when I was like 10, maybe 11 years old, and then started just playing more with like the little flippers and stuff. And so that's what mainly got me into it, was that we would have family and friends that would come over and play. So then I would have an excuse to be with other people. So that was part of it. And then it just distracted from other things.
Yeah, absolutely. You were going to tell me yesterday, but I was like, don't tell me when we did our A/B test, but what your favorite pinball machine is currently.
My favorite pinball machine currently is Shrek. I went to
that game.
Wizard's
World, and I played it there, and then I was like, I need this machine right now. So.
Yes. I
I
agree
would have it.
fully.
So
Shrek was actually one of the first games that I played over and over. It was the only one at this bar in Atlanta that I was working by. They just had this one Shrek game, and I would just spend so many quarters on there. And, the bartenders were like, stop asking us for quarters. Buy some beer. And I'm like, no, I just want to play the pinball. It's so much fun. You got the donkey pinball up at the top.
Yep. And because she's an only child and the apple of our eye, she has a Shrek machine in her house.
Yay!
Nice.
Now you got to get a Family Guy. So you can have a Family Guy and a Shrek next to each other. Have you played Family Guy yet, Piper?
No, I have
So
not.
it's the exact same layout, except all of the artwork is the Family Guy show. But I'm personally partial to Shrek and the call-outs with...
Yeah,
You don't see the Shrek as much.
It's true. Yeah, much more rare game for sure.
Well, what I heard is Shrek went over to Europe because Family Guy doesn't play well over there, so they had to get something for Europe. So a lot of the Shreks are re-imports too.
No.
Wow. Interesting. So that means if you find a Shrek, make sure it's not 220.
Yep. Yeah.
And right before you plug it in.
I tell you, it's rare enough that I get a lot of random messages on Pinside asking if I'm ready to sell the game when it's not even listed because it's in my game's in public view on Pinside. People can see them, and I just get out of the if you're ever or hey, do you wanna? I'm like, nope, not mine. It's not mine. It's my daughter's.
Everyone wants the Shrek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Piper, never sell the Shrek. It's an amazing game. Keep it forever.
Yeah.
Keep it forever.
Yep. Awesome. Well, so Piper has epilepsy, and I know it's a sensitive subject, and we'd love to know how pinball has kind of helped with that. And also, is there anything to worry about with epilepsy and pinball? Because Phil was pointing that out earlier, like, some games say be careful because of flashing lights, and we know some games more than others have extreme flashing lights. I sometimes wear sunglasses when I play. So
for my
pin shades, I love pin shades.
For my epilepsy, it's not triggered through flashing lights, so it doesn't really matter that much to me. Sure, flashing lights bother me, but like flashing lights are really fun for anyone. But
true.
I feel like I'm a little bit more sensitive to flashing lights, but it doesn't trigger anything for me at least. But for other people, it could. So they would have to be careful of like what machines they play.
If they have a photosensitivity, for sure. Gotcha.
So how about like how pinball is helping you with your journey?
It started as just something that I would play with at home with my dad or my mom. And then I ended up, it just kind of helped me like get out of my comfort zone and go to other places. Because with that, I've been home a lot and not been going out as much, I guess. But then pinball helped me go like out more because we go to like the mall to play it, or we'd go to a restaurant to play just to like help get out of like my comfort zone and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the social aspect of pinball. Like growing up in arcades is how I developed all of my social skills. Otherwise, I was a very, very shy and quiet person. So thanks to video games and art, pinball, I can be here and host a live stream with y'all. That's awesome. Cool. What else do y'all want to tell us about the tournament and the charity and this foundation that you're raising money for?
The foundation we're raising money for is we picked the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan from day one. If you had any questions, they were there to answer them. Like we talked about in our little pre-meeting, we picked them too because they help not only with research development, try to help people, but they also for the kids run a camp like Piper talked about, her epilepsy happens when she sleeps. So it's a tough gig growing up to send her over to a friend's house to sleep and expect somebody's parent to understand epilepsy, be aware of it. She's got a cool little watch that helps. And if she were to have a seizure, we would dial our phones. But now I'm 6 blocks away, 7 blocks away. So that kind of robbed her of a lot of her childhood. The camps we went to for school, Deja and I would actually stay with her at the camp. So she never got that feeling of going away. But this epilepsy camp for the kids, it's run by professionals. So we can send her off knowing in the back of our head, if something were to happen, there's no more camp prepared than this camp that these kids are going to right now. And it's free. If you get selected, it's free to the kids. And they go for a week and they're able to be kids. So we want to raise as much money for them as we can.
In addition to that,
really
they
cool.
also have scholarships, and they also have medical assistance for those that have, potential needs for expensive medications for the types of epilepsy that they have, to support them and, help them on their journey through the whole process. It's a ton of education. It helps with, they have first aid trainings for schools and for various groups. There's so much that is, are misconceptions when it comes to epilepsy and how things should be handled and or treated. So it's amazing to have those types of resources that are available and out there willing to provide you with the support that you need.
And it's definitely the great thing about the pinball event is it helps casually bring, without in their face, casually introducing them to epilepsy, because what people don't know, everybody thinks epilepsy is rare, but 1 in 26 people have epilepsy. So if you know 26 people other than Piper today, you know someone with epilepsy. You just may not know they have it. So 1 in 26 people have
experienced it. Yes, for sure.
So it's a staggering number. You think it's just rare. I heard of a friend, or hey, now I know Piper, but I'm sure 26 people in your life, or you bumped into 26 people at Texas Pinball Festival or Chicago Expo. There are a lot of people there that have epilepsy.
Is with epilepsy, is it ever a case where you don't realize you really have it?
Correct. Yes. You can have. There are tons of forms of epilepsy. The epilepsy Deja or Piper has, benign Rolandic, being that it happens in the sleep and it happens to kids. There's a lot of times that they don't even know that the child has it, depending on the severity of the seizure. There's a lot of epilepsy that's just staring off into the distance, or you lose track of reality, like just little, I'm out of reality. We're sitting here talking, I'm just staring at you, and then I come back. It doesn't have to be grand mal seizures and stuff like that. There's tons of different epilepsies, and just you could think somebody's just daydreaming and they're having a seizure.
And there are also various causes. Some can be from an injury. Some can be just genetic. Others can be due to an illness that has occurred in your life, and it can progress into those types of epilepsy type seizures and different things. So it's not like everybody's born with it. Some people don't have their onset until they're in their 20s or 30s or older. So it can affect anyone. And it's good to have these types of resources and support out in the community for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for putting together a fun tournament to, raise money for something like this.
Adding some levity to something that's as serious as epilepsy is a good thing.
Nobody wants to go to a downer tournament or sit at a dinner hall and listen to people talk. I'd rather casually make you aware of it while you're trying to get 1 million points on Jaws, so you get a hole in one. Epilepsy Foundation sends us a ton of pamphlets. They sit out on the table in between. People read up on it and see, and it talks about science and stuff like that, so that if you see it happening, maybe with a loved one, you're kind of like, maybe we should check this out and see what's going on here. Get with the doctor. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be great to. Did you put some links to that charity in the chat?
Yeah,
because everybody who's not involved. Yeah.
We also have a link that should be in the chat that I think Emoto has. If you can't make the event, it's a direct link to the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan. Set up a page.
Yeah, there you go.
If you can't make it and would like to donate to help, can donate there. I told Tom, I sent Tom Graff a message today for my brief little late night stint Saturday that he had me on the talk. I talked to Dave at Ulick store, and he said he was at least 10 t-shirt orders from around the country from people watching it, whether it be Iowa, Wisconsin, stuff like that. So I thought that was real cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's a link to the Ulick store order in the Tolpin post, right?
Yes, I believe so. If not, I think.
Yeah, we dropped the link that has where you can buy the hoodie, the T-shirt. You can RSVP for the pin golf tournament, or you can just directly donate.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool that Johnny Crap drew this one, because I swear it looks like so awesome. Roger Sharp is the scientist and he's cooking it up on the playfield. If you look, I feel like
you're gonna have to pull your screen down more.
I have it on the main screen now too, so you don't have to.
Yeah, that's the
it's a cool.
There right now on the screen is from last year's Joker Poker. Really cool. And there's I swear he took Mr. Sharp.
Yeah, it is totally Roger Sharp, right?
Cooking up a cure right on the playfield. So I was blown away. He replied immediately, didn't ask for anything, said he'd be great, and then he works well with David Ulick, so Dave sent him out it's like, hey, why don't you get a hold of Johnny Crap? And it was instant. I mean, it wasn't like I had to keep bothering him he was amazing. He lives in Canada, but I would love to meet him someday.
And we've just been so grateful for all the support from all of the various pinball sponsors that we have. It's been amazing, and we truly appreciate your support. And Marco has been fantastic, and we're just so grateful for everyone involved, and that they would care for a little local fundraiser. So it's amazing.
Yep, our goal would be, and I was telling Piper and Deisha that my goal would be that this eventually spreads to where there's epilepsy pinball tournaments in every state. I would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's make it happen for sure.
Well, with your help, like I said, you guys were one of the first people to reply to an email. So it's Marco's great. As a matter of fact, I think I was bored and I sent the email out on Thanksgiving and you replied on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that sounds 24/7 pinball. Eat, sleep, drink, and bleed pinball. We love it. Yeah. So fully immersed. Yeah, and shout out to Ulick store too. They do amazing trophies that I see all across the country at any pinball event, and they're always super slick. And I imagine y'all will have Ulick store trophies too.
I think I talked Dave into doing Johnny Crap's logo as the trophy.
Ooh, that's gonna be super slick. And I need to make it up to Ulick Arcade.
Last year's trophy. And it's just like the little epilepsy. So it lights up. It's hard to see. Dave makes it great. And I figured if he can laser cut this. And so this year's is going to be the Johnny Crap logo on the trophy. So that'll light up. So I'm pumped about that because everything about this logo, I got like 50 hoodies, 50 t-shirts already. I just keep buying them. I love them.
It's a very slick design for sure. Awesome.
Very
Well,
cool.
thank y'all so much for joining us. Is there anything else you wanted to say about pinball, life, the tournament?
Pipes? Want to talk about life? Anything?
When I was in Little Flippers, Sterling had helped me with a game. I literally can't think of it right now.
Mando.
It was Star Wars.
Mando.
Oh, Mando. My bad. And now,
I would have said the same thing.
holding down the button to start the point system. I literally can't think right now.
The flamethrower. The
flamethrower. And then so then it helped me be better at the game, I guess, or like get more points for it. And so I thought that was cool.
That is awesome. Do you play a lot with Sterling? Sterling's kind of a little rock star in our pinball tournament community because he is slaying everyone right now.
He is. I think he's still number one in Michigan right now. But he comes down and whips on everybody quite often.
But he's sweet, and he's always open and willing to, talk about the games and talk about the gameplay and the rule sets, and he loves talking pinball with Piper for sure.
Awesome. Piper, you ever beat him in games? Take him out for the rest of us?
I don't think I've ever beat him.
We're rooting for you.
You can do it. You can do it.
Equalize the playfield. Learn all of his tricks and tips and then show him how it's done.
He's like an encyclopedia of rule sets.
He really is. I think at Cleveland, I asked him how do you play this game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just now. Yep.
Awesome. I always run up to him in tournaments. Hey, I'm on Walking Dead. What do I need to do? And then he starts going into the thousands of rules. I'm like, narrow it down to 2. Just give me 2. Give me some 2 things to shoot at.
What's the super secret skill shot? That's all.
Yeah.
I just need to get in a multi-ball. Tell me how to get in a multi-ball.
Right. Very cool.
But
awesome.
no, we just want to thank everybody that's helping. Like I said, there's countless sponsors that have helped, and the tournament's going to be great. We still got, I think, 10 spots if anybody wants to play. We picked pin golf because it's casual. You can talk. Okay, I just go to the next hole. So we're going to have foursomes set up. It's not like you, me, Deja, Phil, we're playing and we're just battling. It's just you against the machine. So it takes a lot of the pressure off knowing that, oh, great, now I'm in a group with Sterling. And now I got to try to beat Sterling on Godzilla. And he puts up $5 billion on accident. Nope. That's just come down.
He's like yawning.
Yeah. It's just casually, what's going on? So the pin golf makes it even, in my opinion, more fun because you just, so what do I do? I just got to get 500,000. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I got 500,000. Woo, we move on to the next hole. It's not super stressful. You can wander around, you can talk, you can bid on the prizes. It's
eat, have cocktails, all the things. It all supports Epilepsy Foundation on that day.
One thing I have found out that cocktails will loosen up people's pocketbooks, and next thing I know, the bids start about halfway through. The bids start going up. Everybody looks at that silent auction. I'm not losing that. So the cocktails definitely help bring out the money.
Very cool. Yeah, whatever helps. Yeah, let's raise as much money as possible for this. This is great.
Yeah, it's great. The Epilepsy Foundation usually matches too. So it's even better.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So we're hoping for another big turnout with great help, great friends like you guys and Marco and people getting us on so we can talk about it and make people aware of epilepsy. It's something that you don't think about, not coming home every day after work and thinking about it like we are. So we just want to bring attention to it, kind of bring it to the forefront. And, if people want to help out or can help out or come down and hang out, you don't even have to play.
At the very least, just share those links that we dropped in the chat,
Yep.
That goes a long way,
It goes. It actually probably goes further than the tournament, because now we're reaching hundreds of thousands of people that watch your show all the time. And anybody just make a click and donate. Everything helps. $1 helps.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, thanks y'all so much for joining us. And again, the links are there in the chat. And hopefully we'll see y'all there playing pin golf. And awesome. For everyone else, we will be back next week with PinTech Live. Stay tuned for what that is. And we'll see y'all later. If you're on Twitch, stick around. We're going to go raid Mystery Pinball Theater 3000 or someone of the sort.
Oh, I love this show.
Thank you.